Hello and welcome back to GLC TV. We have another GLC gameplay video for you. For those who don't know, Gym Leader Challenge, or GLC, is an official alternative format for the Pokemon TCG created by Andrew Mahone of Tricky Gym, in which players use cards printed from the expanded era pool of sets, black and white onward, to build a deck with only Pokemon of a single type, and can only include a single copy of each card, except for basic energy. GLC decks cannot use any cards which have a rule box, which includes cards like V-Stars, EXs, Radiant Pokemon, and Ace-Specs. Cory is playing a deck which aims to lock down the opponent's evolutions after he sets up his own. Once Colossal is set up, he can start powering up his big basic attackers to take knockouts. By using Battle Compressor and Plume Fossil, he can get Archon onto the bench quickly and evolved into Archeops to prevent the opponent from evolving, and can use TM Devolution to return any evolutions that are already in play on the opponent's side to their hand, where they can no longer be played while Archeops is in play. Rhyperior from Stellar Crown is used in the deck as both a strong attacker and wall, but also its Wide Wall ability prevents the opponent from using a supporter like Guzma or Boss's Orders to bring up and knock out the Archeops or the Colossal, as well as protecting them from Hex Maniac. Even if Archeops gets into play before Cory's other evolutions, the deck has multiple ways to cheat evolutions into play through the ability, including Evo Soda, TM Evolution, and Wally. Andrew is playing a Psychic Spread deck, using Pokemon like Meloetta, Azelf, and Mismagius to spread damage counters across the opponent's board, then using Dusknoir's ability to combine those damage counters onto specific Pokemon to be able to take KOs. He also has Chandelure and Blacephalon to do additional bursts of damage counter placements, and has several other methods to put damage counters on the opponent's Pokemon, like Spell Tag, Horror Energy, and Old Cemetery. Unfortunately, this was recorded just before the Surging Sparks pre-release, so we won't be seeing any of the new toys for Psychic Spread, like the new Uxie, but it should still be a really fun match to watch, and we'll get to see what kind of deck the new Surging Sparks cards might fit into. And there's Andrew and Cory there. I wanted to actually show the players in this table here because there was actually like a standard League Cup happening at the store this night, and it was pretty cool that in spite of that, we actually had a full table of GLC players in the back of the store that were just there to play some Gym Leader Challenge, so that was really cool. Alright, so I believe Andrew is going first here and Cory chose to go second. Andrew's on the left playing Psychic, Cory on the right playing Fighting, and we've got Andrew starting off with an Azelf, able to do 20 damage to each of the opponent's Pokemon that has damage counters on it already. I'm going to use a Level Ball here, and yeah, this Azelf is going to pair really well with the new Uxie from Surging Sparks, which for 1 energy does 2 damage counters onto each of the opponent's Pokemon regardless of what they have. So that following up by an Azelf is going to be really good. Cory starting off with the Carbink. Love this card in this deck. I did some work on this deck. I think Cory is playing a deck list that's pretty close to one that I had come up with based on somebody else's idea to use Rhyperior and Archeops together. But I think this Carbink adds a lot, allowing you to get the 2 items you need to really get set up very quickly with that first attack. You can also do 80 damage for a Fighting into colorless, so you can actually do some pretty good damage off of a Colossal ability to KO like low HP basics if you need to. So Andrew grabbing the Ralts there off the Level Ball. I'm going to pass turn back to Cory. Cory's got a Fire Energy for the Carbink. Going to be able to use the attack there. And he's got a Battle Compressor. So So able to grab 3 cards from the deck and discard them. Has to discard at least one. Gonna get a Fighting Energy and the Archon into the discard pile. So the Restored Archon has the ability that says if it's in the discard pile, you can place it onto the bottom of the deck. Really useful with the Plume Fossil item card, which lets you look at the bottom 7 cards of your deck, and if you find an Archon there, you can put it onto your bench. So that's the combo, is Battle Compressor to put the Archon in the discard pile, use the Archon's ability to put it on the bottom of the deck, and then use the Plume Fossil to get it onto the bench. A little bit faster than trying to do the unidentified fossil route. Gonna grab a Fire Energy as well, so discarded the Archon, the Fighting Energy, and the Fire Energy, setting up for a Colossal later. And gonna play N here to have both players shuffle their hand into their deck and draw 6 new cards. Gonna use Pokemon Communication here to put the Archeops back into the deck. Gonna be able to grab any Pokemon off of that. Gets the Roly-Coly, and gonna use the Lucky Find attack off the Carbink to grab 2 items from the deck. Gonna grab Hisuian Heavy Ball and Evolution Incense to hand, so must have noticed one of his basic Pokemon were prize that he needs. And Andrew gonna play out a Mimikyu. Attaches to the Mimikyu, and gonna put, looks like, Spell Tag, and gonna clap back with an Iono here, so that's gonna put both of those items, unfortunately, back to the bottom of Cory's deck. That is the problem with these attacks that search for cards into your hand. You don't get a chance to play them before the opponent can play something like Iono or N or Marnie, so hopefully those cards were not too crucial to Cory's strategy, or he can just draw into the cards he was going to search off. Well, I guess he can't draw into the basic he was going to get with his Hisuian Heavy Ball, though. Needs a way to get the Azulf to the bench. Probably wants to start filching. Ooh, Ultra Ball, discarding 2 Pokemon. One of them being a Meloetta. I'm not sure what the other one is. Gonna grab that Kirlia to be able to evolve the Ralts and start drawing cards. I'm gonna use Refinement, discards Blacephalon to draw 2 cards. Gonna use Scoop Up Net to pick up the Azulf and promote the Mimikyu. Benches the Azulf, and gonna be able to draw 2 cards off the Filch here. Now Cory's gonna have to can use Carbink again. Not under a ton of pressure from Andrew's deck right now. Alright, Brooklet Hill and Arvin, so we're gonna be able to get one of those items. And has the Carkol to evolve as well. Could get that Hisuian Heavy Ball probably with the Arvin. Could also get TM Evolution and skip the Treasured Find. There's the TM Evolution. Could skip the Treasured Find here. Gonna go for the Rotom Dex instead of the Hisuian Heavy Ball. So probably an Evolution in the prizes as well. So we're gonna shuffle the prizes in with Rotom Dex and then reprize 6 new prizes, hoping that whatever evolution was in the prizes is gonna be in the deck. And that actually works really well for this play because he can get it out of the deck with Techno Machine Evolution. So he'll be able to get possibly a Colossal faster than if he had Gladion for it. Hopefully he didn't shuffle in Archeops into the prizes. Now I'm gonna use, interesting, gonna use Brooklet Hill. That makes sense. So because there was a basic stuck in the prizes as well. Use the Rotom Dex first, then use the Brooklet Hill to go find the basic. And oh no, it sounds like whatever was in the prizes is still in the prizes. That's unfortunate. So yeah, the one card he needed out of the prizes went back into the prizes with the Rotom Dex, unfortunately. Alright, plays down Regirock. Attach a Fighting Energy here. Gonna do Lucky Find again, so I'm not gonna be deploying that TM evolution just yet. Gonna try and grab that heavy ball back. Hopefully that Rotom Dex at least reset whatever evolutions were stuck in the prizes. Otherwise it would have been probably better to just get the Hisuian heavy ball off the Arven. So grabbing Hisuian heavy ball and evolution incense once again with the treasured find, and hoping that Andrew does not have the hand disruption again for this turn. Alright, Andrew using Refinement, going to discard the Evolution Incense to draw 2 cards with the Kirlia. Going to evolve into Gallade, so now has access to any supporter. Oh, he's got the Versus Seeker though. The ultimate rudeness. The Iono coming back to shut down Cory's treasured find once again. Back to the bottom. Setting back Cory another turn. Both players shuffling their hands to the bottom of their decks and drawing 6 cards, equal to the number of prizes they have left. Still has Buddy Catch. I find it's good to always use Buddy Catch even if you can't play a supporter for the turn, just so you get value out of it. But is going to use Hisuian Heavy Ball here, card that Cory has been pining for this entire game, and gets Misdreavus out of the prizes. Mismagius, one of the key Pokemon in this spread deck, being able to spread 2 damage counters, and I believe puts 8 damage counters on the attacker if it gets knocked out. Gonna bench the Misdreavus, and looks like he's getting ready to play a supporter here. Interestingly, could use Mimikyu to use Treasured Find to get 2 items if you wanted to, instead of just drawing 2 random cards. It's got a Teammate and Hex Maniac, Quick Ball, Night Stretcher, and Counter Catcher in hand. Okay, gonna Quick Ball, discarding the Night Stretcher. Gonna get the Lampet, I think that's what it is. The pre-evolution of Chandelure. But gonna just use Filch Cheer to draw 2 cards with the Mimikyu. Probably doesn't have the energy needed to use the attack there, the Mimic attack. Alright, looks like Cory gonna be playing Evo Soda to get Colossal into play. Gonna use Brooklet Hill to get the Slitherwing into play. Not the Slitherwing that people are probably used to seeing that does 120 burn. This is the Smashing Wings with Slitherwing that has the Iron Smasher that hurts future Pokemon, but more importantly, can do 130 damage for 3 energy, and you discard 2 energy from this Pokemon. And the cool thing about that one is, first of all, it doesn't kill itself the way that the other Slitherwing does, doing 90 damage to itself. But when you have to discard the 2 energy, you can get those right back with Colossal if you have it in play. So this Slitherwing meant to be a little bit more longevity, take more knockouts than the other one. The idea being that if you can stop your opponent from evolving and getting their game plan into play, the Slitherwing, the Smashing Wind Slitherwing, can take a bunch of knockouts on a bunch of unevolved Pokemon without knocking itself out. I'll put a Luxcape on the Colossal, and now I'm going to be playing Tate and Liza to shuffle his hand into his deck and draw 5 cards. And his discard pile is already fully set up with the Fire and Fighting Energy from the Battle Compressor, so Colossal is ready to go power something up. Probably the Regirock or the Slitherwind to take a knockout. Looks like he did attach a Fighting Energy from hand to the Slitherwing, so... Alright, gonna put the Archon on the bottom of the deck here. Drew into that Plume Fossil, so I'm gonna be able to put it onto the bench. Always important to not use that restored ability too early before you're ready to find it, because of course if you play a shuffle draw or a search card that shuffles your deck, you'll lose that Archon back into the deck, the Prehistoric Call ability. This is a good spot for Cory to be in. He's got what he needs. He's got the Colossal in play. He's got the energy in the discard. Now he's got the Archon ready to go, and not a whole lot of evolutions on Andrew's side other than the Gallade. And if Cory can get a Devolution TM going, Oh, he's going to go right for the Archeops here with the TM Evolution. And that's going to prevent this Lampent and Misdreavus from evolving. As long as Andrew doesn't draw into something like Hexmaniac. But no Rhyhorn in sight for Cory. Oh no! Oh no! The Archeops got shuffled into the prizes! Okay, gonna undo that. He's gonna switch into the Slitherwing, use Colossal to attach a fire and a fighting energy to it and take the knockout, which is gonna distribute 4 damage counters onto Cory's board with the spell tag. And it looks like 10 on the Archon, 10 on the Carbink, and 20 on the Slitherwing. It's always interesting to see how spread players do their math with their damage counter distribution. Slitherwing going to discard the fire energy there. Alright, Duskull coming into play here. So Cory not able to get the Archeops out because it did get shuffled into the prizes, unfortunately, there, even though he had the TM Evolution. So I had to go for the knockout with the Slitherwing instead. Stretcher to get an energy back onto the Misdreavus. Teammates for Andrew, gonna get 2 cards out of the deck. Hasn't even used Buddy Catch yet. Hasn't needed Gallade, although like I said, I do think you should use Gallade or use Buddy Catch each turn, even if you don't use it. Usually, like, I play Dragon, so when I use Fast Call, even if I have the supporter I need, I'll usually Fast Call for something like Raihan or Teammates, just in case my Dragonite gets knocked out by Gust Effect. I'll have the best supporter in that situation, which would be Raihan or Teammates, as a backup plan. Not sure what he got off the Teammates. Looks like one of them's a Pokemon, though. I'm guessing Mismagius. Yep, there's the Mismagius. And there is the evolution for Lampent, which I will have to look up. Chandelure evolves from... maybe Litwick? Is that what it's called? Oh, Litwick is the basic, and Lampent is the stage 1. So that's the Lampent. Not my generation. And we're going to see some spread from this Mismagius, which is then setting up the Azelf nicely as well. And now Duskull threatening to evolve into a Dusknoir. Could still get there, though, if Cory can get Archeops out of the prizes and find a TM Devolution. He could set back Andrew's board pretty significantly, since it feels unlikely like Andrew's got a way to bring up an Archeops and KO it. I'm going to use the Eerie Voice attack to spread 2 damage counters on each of Cory's Pokemon. Important to remember that the way that's worded is it doesn't deal damage, it places damage counters. So this attack is completely immune to things like Manaphy, Bench Barrier, or Sky Pillar. And a lot of Psychic spread attackers are immune to those cards. I believe Azelf and Uxie both place damage counters. Chandelure places damage counters. Blacephalon places damage counters. So Bench Barrier is really not that useful against these Psychic spread decks in particular, which is what makes them Psychic spread probably one of the better spread decks in the format. All right, we've got a Jet Energy going to be put onto the Regirock. Needs to have a Fighting Energy on it, though. Going to use Colossal to attach Fighting Energy to the Regirock. Can put a Fire Energy anywhere else, probably on the Slitherwing makes sense. Yep, onto the Slitherwing. There's Groudon. Can do 3 energy for 60 damage times the number of energy you discard from play up to 4. So Groudon can do a big damage by discarding energy. He's got the Training Court there to replace the Brooklet Hill. And that's going to let him get back energy from the discard pile. Ooh, and Bicycle going to draw 2 cards. Love Bicycle, one of my favorite cards in the format. Basically, feels like Bill from base set a lot of the time, but sometimes you can draw 3, even 4 cards if you play your cards right. And I'm going to attack for 140 with the Regirock. Giga Impact. And can't attack again next turn, but the cool thing with Colossal is you can just retreat the Regirock, 3 retreat, and then use the energy you discard for the retreat to power up your next attacker with Colossal. Andrew going to use the Training Court to get a energy back. And now I'm going to play Arvin. Grabbing Air Balloon and Mysterious Treasure. So Air Balloon on the Lampent. Plays the Mysterious Treasure. Not sure what that is. Looks like an item though from Scarlet and Violet. So getting the Chandelure. So we get to see this Chandelure in action now. Great promotion on the Lampet, as the Chandelure's ability only works while it's in the active spot. And to be precise, this is the Cursed Shadow Chandelure, it looks like. So he gets to put 3 damage counters on Cory's Pokemon any way he likes, so that's just free spread. And now going to use the Azelf to put 2 more damage counters, which gets the knockout on the Regirock. It's always hard to keep track of the damage counters when you're watching this. The Shining Eyes attack on Azelf. So let's see, we've got 40 damage on Colossal, 20 on the Groudon. Oh no, no damage on the Groudon. 60 damage on the Slitherwing. Looks like 60 on the Carbink and 60 on the Archon. Oh no, 40 on the Archon. 40 on the Carbink, 60 on the Archon. So there's a lot of damage on Cory's board right now. Slitherwing has 80 hit points left. Carbink's got 50 hit points left. And the Colossal has 220 with the Lux Cape left. So Cory's sending out Slitherwing. So it looks like we're at 4 prizes on Cory's side and Andrew now at 5 prizes. However, that's kind of where the spread decks want to be. They like to play just a little bit behind so they can use all their cards like Counter Catcher. And then they come back with a multi-prize turn, taking 2 to 3 prizes in one shot to win the game. That's what makes spread really powerful, is they can enjoy the benefits of the playing from behind cards and then take the win anyway very quickly. All right, we're going to use, wow, Colossal attaching to itself with the Tar Generator ability, possibly to allow him to retreat it, or maybe be able to attack with it if he needs to, if he loses some of these other Pokemon. And I'm going to attack with the Slitherwing, with the Smashing Wing attack to take the knockout on the Azelf, going down to 3 prizes. Has to discard 2 energy from the Slitherwing, but might be going down at this point. Sends out the Chandelure. So we're going to be able to put 3 damage counters on Cory's Pokemon in any way he likes, again with that ability. Also has the Gallade, so he can get any supporter he needs from the deck. Interesting thing about Lux Cape against Spread, it's actually really strong because Spread, unless they deal damage to it, especially against Psychic Spread where they're just placing damage counters, if you knock out a Lux Cape Pokemon, a Luxurious Cape Pokemon, by just placing damage counters on it, you don't get to take the extra prize. So Luxurious Cape really good against Spread to keep whatever bench Pokemon you need alive. And it looks like we're going to go with a Super Rod here. Going to shuffle in. So we're going to shuffle in Blacephalon, Azelf, and a basic Psychic Energy into the deck. All Alright, gonna use Buddy Catch off the Gallade to grab a supporter. Alright, gonna play N here, which is gonna put Cory down to 3 cards. Gonna let Andrew draw back up to 5. So far has only knocked out the Regirock. Oh, a little bit of a misplay apparently. Andrew forgot to shuffle the energy back in from training cards that they got back. Alright, gonna evolve Duskull into Dusclops, which has the Cursed Blast ability. However, not playing the Cursed Blast Dusknoir, going to be playing the other Dusknoir that can move damage counters around. So probably not going to be firing that one off. Let's see, what's it called? The Shadow Void Dusknoir. But of course, the Dusclops is the most useful Dusclops to play. In a pinch, you can knock it out to put 5 damage counters on any target. Playing the old cemetery there to bump the training court. And the Azelf has come back off the Super Rod. And oh, there's going to go the Archon with the Chandelure's ability. And then 2 damage counters to the Groudon. So most likely not going to be seeing Archeops this game, since it's really not a way to recur Archon. Trying to protect it with Rhyperior, things like Lux Cape and fighting, what is it called? Focus Sash are really good to protect bench Pokemon, but it's really hard to get them back. It's pretty much impossible to get Archon back with this deck once it gets knocked out, and you've already used your Plume Fossil. And gonna get a Wobbuffet. Andrew gonna retreat the Chandelure, which has that Air Balloon, making a great pivot, and now going to be doing 20 damage to each of Cory's Pokemon with the Azelf here. So we've got 60 damage on Carbink, 40 on Groudon, 60 on Colossal, and 80 on the Slitherwing. Cory finally just remembering he was supposed to discard for Wing Smash, discard the energy from the Slitherwing. Cory's board still pretty much intact. He's just accumulating these damage counters quickly. Alright, Cory gonna use Super Rod here. Gets the Regirock back, and then use Quick Ball to put it back onto the bench, getting it back into play. Going to use VS Seeker or Versus Seeker to get back Tate and Liza. Shuffle, draw 5. Something to think about when you play against a spread deck is not putting too many Pokemon on the bench at once, especially Pokemon that can't evolve. You really want to limit it, since whenever they use their attack that does X damage to each of your Pokemon, the more Pokemon you have in play, the stronger those attacks are. The more damage they're dealing, and the more knockouts they can potentially take. So staggering your bench can really help with mitigating the damage that spread decks can deal. So going to use Colossal Tar Generator to attach 2 energy to the Slitherwing. Working pretty perfectly, honestly. That Slitherwing was a cool tech card that I found over the other Slitherwing, looking for big basics to attack with in fighting. So Wing Smash, gonna knock out the Azelf once again. Cory going down to 2 prizes. Sounds like he finally found that Archeops from the prizes, but not gonna be very good at this point now that the Archon has gone down. Wobbuffet benched by Andrew. Gonna use Buddy Catch here. Find any supporter. Such a powerful ability. Something cool you could do with this deck is play Duskstone, which is like an instant evolution from the deck that skips the restriction on when the Pokemon was put into play, and you can use it to get out either Dusknoir or Mismagius or Chandelure. Oh no, not Dusknoir. Mismagius or Chandelure. Well, okay, you can't use it to get out Dusknoir. Oh, that's right. That Dusknoir evolves with the Reaper Cloth, not a Duskstone. All right, we're gonna get Colress for the turn with Buddy Catch. Shuffle their hand into the deck. You're going to draw a card for each bench Pokemon both players have, so you're going to draw 7. If Andrew can find Dusknoir here, he could actually take out the Colossal and strip Cory's ability to generate energy, since the Chandelure can do 3 damage counters anywhere. There would be 260 damage counter, or 26 damage counters on the board total once Chandelure uses its ability. Looks like he's going to attach to the Wobbuffet here, though. And that will shut down Colossal. Oh, there's Dimension Valley. And it looks like he's going to be able to take a knockout on the Slitherwing with the Wobbuffet while shutting down Colossal's ability here, unless Cory can find a Gust or an Escape Rope. That is not looking good for Cory. So Wobbuffet able to take the knockout on the heavily damaged Slitherwing thanks to the Dimension Valley reducing the cost of the attack, and does 10 damage for each damage counter on the defending Pokemon. So Psychic Assault basically doubles the damage on the defender plus 10. Andrew just needs to take 2 prizes at this point to win. So Cory promoting Regirock. Gonna play Ball Guy here, late Ball Guy. But finds the 3 balls, and one of them is gonna get an energy. He's got 5 balls in the deck. Gonna get Heavy Ball, Level Ball, and Magma's Great Ball, which can get a fighting energy out of the deck. Looks like we're getting Rhyhorn, Rhydon, and is there a basic energy? No basic energy, so we're going to get a Hisuian Heavy Ball instead. Which I wonder what was in the prizes earlier. Interesting. Andrew mentioning he forgot to put Guzma in his deck, or maybe doesn't have it, but he just doesn't run it. But he thought he had it. He was searching for it earlier. Gonna use Night Stretcher to get back Carbink. Could delay a turn here against the Dusknoir with the TM Devolution in hand. Discards the Hisuian Heavy Ball. Gonna bench the Rhyhorn. Capture energy on the Rhyhorn, which Rhyperior does have a double colorless attack. Just gonna discard the TM Devo, not gonna use it. And they might be out of energy here with the Colossal shut down. Needs to find a Gust effect or an Escape Rope to get out of this Wobbuffet lock. Hisuian Heavy Ball from Andrew. Just to check the prizes, puts the Hisuian Heavy Ball in the discard. Alright, gonna bench the Blacephalon, attach. Not currently at the right prize count for Cory, but can do 4 damage counters for 1 energy, which is still pretty good for basic. Gonna use Buddy Catch to find Cynthia. Try to get a new hand of 6. Shuffles away the hand, draws 6 cards. Sounds like he didn't draw anything really great. Does find a Float Stone. Looks like a rare candy there. Oh, he's gonna Float Stone and retreat the Wobbuffet for Blacephalon. Potentially unlocking Cory's abilities. Gonna do 4 damage counters onto the Carbink, and Cory can now use Colossal once again. Evolves into Rhydon. Doesn't have an energy in hand, unfortunately, so I'm not going to be able to get the attack off with the Regirock this turn, but at least he can start getting energy into play. Probably put the fire energy on the Rhydon and the fighting energy on the Regirock. And he's only going to put one energy on? Colossal can split the energy, which is really nice. And I'm wondering if Cory is not aware or missed that, because Tar Generator, you can attach them to your Pokemon any way you like. So you could have put a fire energy on the Rhydon, and then it would have had fire colorless. And then the Rhyperior has an attack for fighting colorless. So that might have been a bit of a misplay. Alright, looks like a mystery psychic energy on the Cephalon. And gonna retreat right back into that Wobbuffet. Lock the abilities down once again and leaving both Regirock and Rhydon unable to attack. Finds the Rhyperior, but gonna have to just pass the turn without Tar Generator. Gonna do the slow death by 1,000 cuts to the Wobbuffet under the ability lock. And Cory just has to pass. Alright, Andrew playing Timer Ball. Gonna hope to find that Dusknoir. All he needs. There's the heads. And now he's gonna be able to take some more knockouts here. Can get rid of the Colossal or take 2 knockouts on the rest of Cory's board. Because we've got 60, 40, 40 on Carbink. Okay, just going to deal some damage with the Wobbuffet. Not going to use the Dusknoir yet. Cory finds the switch with the Adventure Bag. Going to find Focus Sash and Float Stone. Focus Sash pretty useless here since you have to have no damage counters on your Pokemon and it has to get knocked out by damage from an attack, so pretty useless, but he is thinning the deck, getting it out. Gonna put it on the Rhyperior. Float Stone on the Regirock. TM Evolution on Groudon. Enhanced Hammer to get rid of the Mystery Energy. And then plays a ball item to search the deck and fail to find. Retreats the Regirock into the Rhyperior. And going to pass the turn. So Rhyperior's Wide Wall is going to protect Cory's Pokemon from any supporter effects. Does not protect them from bench damage, nor does it protect them from abilities, though. So Chandelure going to use its ability to put 3 damage counters on Cory's side. And is that going to be it? Oh, wait a second. I was totally yapping there and I totally missed it. So Andrew found the game there. 3 damage from the Chandelure. Just needed to take 2 knockouts and able to move the damage, all of the damage onto Carbink and onto the Groudon to take the final 2 prizes. That is the power of Psychic Spread. You can see the tools it has available. Ability Lock, damage manipulation, trainer search, just really powerful deck. I think Psychic Spread is one of the best decks in the format. I think it might be a contender. Well, that was the game. Thanks everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing that game. Thank you for Cory and Andrew for playing. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more GLC gameplay. Also, check out my shorts. If you haven't seen, I've started doing YouTube shorts on Gym Leader Challenge, and I think they're pretty fun to watch. And thank you everybody for watching. We'll catch you next time.